Dimitria!
Lambda. How to Train Your Dragon 3, The Hidden World. I don't know why they left out the 3. Here's what I think about the first movie. The first movie I thought was awesome. I love the first movie. I think the relationship between the dragon and Hiccup is like some of the best chemistry I think we've had in a while. And then you get to the second one. It's good. Perfectly fine. There's not too much to me that really went whoa, whoa. And I thought the villain was kind of And so now you get to this one, and I was kind of excited to take a look at this. I'm going to be pointing out a lot of things that were very underwhelming to me. If only there were room to talk about the things that were really great. But we'll talk about that first. The one thing that's pretty great is the animation. I think the lighting in particular, natural lighting fixes on these figures is quite staggering to me. And then of course when they go into the hidden world, that's like seeing Coco all over again. It's just like bubblegum for the eyes. It's like when you look at it, it's really well animated, but the thing is that I don't like the way it's edited. It cuts too many times. It's the editing and impact, and those are so vital within big action scenes. It's like when you play a video game. If you don't get the satisfaction of really hitting something, there's not that sense of satisfaction, and then that equals entertainment. And then with the editing, it cuts too quickly for you to really involve yourself, and it's like, I really want to love this animation. There is so much stuff where let's just start with the villain. We have this Marilyn Manson Dracula hybrid who is a collector of the Night Furies, and now he is going to rain vengeance upon Hiccup's tribe and their city in order to capture the Night Fury. He had a perfectly good opportunity to catch the Night Fury the first time, but he's not going to do it because, of course, as all villains do, they love the chase. Did they ever read anything about war? Did they ever read anything about power? If you really want to destroy your enemy, you gotta pummel them to the ground. I know it's a kid's movie, but this sticks out a little too much to me. He just chooses to leave pretty evidently. It's just like, you hear it in the trailer that, he's going to destroy everything Hiccup loves, and it's going to be the big epic conclusion. Their chemistry is highly limited. When you end up at the climax and they're falling down and they're going at it, it's like Voldemort and Harry in Deathly Hallows. It's kind of, when it reminds me of a relationship like that was so internalized and so gut-wrenching, and then you cut to these people who have kind of no chemistry. It's the same thing as in the second one, whereas in the second one I'm just like, okay, there's a little bit of something where he says I can change him like I changed my dad, but they don't really go into it. It's just kind of like a bad guy and then he dies. In this one, there's none of that. It's just another story. I can't believe we're doing this thrice about animal cruelty and sort of white man sucks, and now we have this person who looks like Dracula. The first time you see him, it's like this anime shadow. I'm like, oh Jesus, are you kidding? This villain does not get in the way of Hiccup's inner problems. There really is not much to say about relationships in this film. All of their friends, the really goofy ones for comedic relief, have not evolved at all. Astrid is just the tough chick, the romantic interest, the one who has to tell Hiccup when he's wrong, or the one who has to support him, whatever, but could beat the shit out of him in any given moment. And of course, they have to think about getting married. Yeah, we're doing this. And then you have the mother, who is kind of the centerpiece of the second movie. She's just kind of support number 2. And then you have the friend of the father in the first movie, support number 3. And yeah, I get it, he's supposed to be the young leader, but there's so many similar characters, and due to the previous films, I should be getting more out of them, where I feel like they're just kind of at a standstill right here. It's like seeing Kung Fu Panda 3. It's like all of these supporting characters and they're just kind of pushed to the sidelines. They just have kind of one objective throughout the majority of the film. My main problem with the film is it relies on too many cliches. You could look at the first two movies and you could really point out how derivative they really are. And then you could sort of argue how well they evolve past it. In this one, where the primary friend of our hero has found that land, has found their own people, and that's where they belong. How many times have you heard that? The same thing as Ralph breaks the internet. Where did this come from? When did we ever think that this is where it was going to go or where it should have gone? We have established that dragons and humans, they can live together. There's been a lot of struggle through the centuries, and there still are people who treat them very poorly, but it can work. It can happen. In the flick of a switch, they make this gigantic decision, and then Hiccup has to go, okay, this is your place. This is where you belong. You lead this place. It is so tired. It's so forced. It's so cliche. I swear, I don't care if this is spoilers or not. This is when Hiccup goes, I was worrying about you all this time when I should be worrying about what you want. And I'm like, was that the point of the movie? Was that the point of their relationship? So the ending just kind of completely shoots itself in the foot. It's kind of doing it that it really is the end of it. It's kind of like a big fuck you to me. I'm like, wow, like this was so underwhelming for a franchise that went on such a high note, like such a blast off. For it to give us this, to give us this villain, to have us transition these characters to this. And the only thing good about it is, I guess the animation's gotten, I don't know, a little more crisp. The first and second have really good animation too. So I mean, it's like, there's nothing about it that I can say is superior. Supporting characters are either dull or they're more grating and more annoying. Their arc, their relationship, I don't feel it too much because they put them into these conflicts and they make these choices that don't feel genuine for them. It just kind of feels forced, and it's like, okay, well, I guess it's the end of a trilogy, so we have to make these decisions. So that's about it. I would check it out if you're looking for gorgeous colors, some beautiful animation. This sounds weird. If you're going to see this not seeing the first two movies, there's a chance. There's not as much jeopardy, there's not as much risk, and even if there is, the pacing is so off that everything feels a little underwhelming. Thank you so much for watching. Who are we and who are you? I'll see you next time.